Okay. For the last 7 days, I've been conducting an experiment testing flat betting versus the Martingale system, playing Blackjack, either single deck or double deck. Dealers would stand on all 17s. No surrender. Just following basic strategy. I would start the flat better with 50 chips. I would give the Martingale player 100 chips. Flat better would bet 2 chips every hand. The Martingale player would start with a single chip bet and double the bet on every loss, returning to a single chip after every win. I gave it a table limit of 100 chips, so that would be like playing a $5 table with a $500 max. Fairly common. Blackjack would pay 3 to 2, which is getting harder to find on lower limit tables. Often it's 6 to 5. And just they would share the hand. We would just see how things would end up. Single deck, we would do 6 decks, 5 decks per hand. Double deck, we would do 3 shoes, or 10 and 10 hands per shoe. So either way, you were doing 30 hands. Like I said, following basic strategy that you would find at thewizardofodds.com. Often I had to check, or I would check just to make sure we were doing it right. And so this is the summary after 7 days. That would be, what, 420 hands? 7 times 30 plus 7 times 30. 210 twice, it's 420 hands. If you're playing like a multiple deck shoe, like a six deck shoe, I think you get about, maybe if you're playing by yourself, you get about 40 hands per shoe. So that would be sort of like playing 10 shoes by yourself, assuming no one came along and sat down and at your table. But you know, you can get a table by yourself sometimes. So 10 shoes, that's, I don't know how long you like to play. I like to play for quite a while usually. I could sit down and play 10 shoes over a few hours. So this is not scientific. It doesn't advocate flat betting or the Martingale. Just having fun and just trying to see what it's like. So, consider this a solid gaming session. Anyways, here we go. I drew it all out for you. Okay, so obviously, actually you're on this side, aren't you? 1 deck over 2 decks, or 1 deck versus 2 decks. So flat, Martingale, flat, and Martingale. So on the first day, in single deck, the flat better was only down 1. The Martingale was up 15.5. And in the 2 deck game, the flat better was up 22, while the Martingale was up 30. So at first view, that looks pretty good, and honestly I was a little bit surprised, but that's just first day. So you can always have a fluke. Second day, single deck game, flat better came out flat, came out broke even. Martingale was up 25. His running total at that point was 40.5. On the 2 deck game, the flat better lost 3, running total of 18. Martingale won 20 and running total of 50. So it was really, again, it's only a couple days worth. It's 60 hands, but Martingale is definitely doing better. Day 3, the flat better lost a dozen, so he's down 13 on his running total. Martingale won 56. He's up by 96.5. And on the 2 deck game, the flat better was down 10, running total of 8, and the Martingale was up 39 for a running total of 89. And you're really starting to see some disparity here. This guy's down. This one's up almost 100 chips. And, you know, that's a 11 times difference in the gains. So, short term, maybe Martingale's good. As you can see, he's really outdoing the flat better. Okay, day 4. The flat better on the single deck game finally came out with a win of 4 chips. So if that was a $5 game, that'd be like 20 bucks. But again, the Martingales, you know, beat him by 5 times with a gain of 21. So the flat better cut his running loss to -9. Martingale moving up to 117.5. In the 2-deck game, the flat better was down 11. So his running total is 3. So remember, he started up. So he just chip. Now he's down overall. And again, the Martingale won. He's losing, he's winning. So he's up 110. At this point, I will say I was thinking, wow, maybe I should play the Martingale. I mean, in here there were some tight hands. In one of the games, the Martingale almost busted out. He had a bet of 64 after losing several in a row and having to double every time. And if he had lost that, he would have been down to 2 chips. He would have had enough to keep playing, at least covering properly for a single hand. But you know, he hit Blackjack. So I don't remember which day that was. All right, day 5. Single deck game. The flat better was down 5, so you know he's increasing his his losses went down again, -14. And again, you can see the Martingale's winning 11.5. So he's up to his running total of 129. The flat better had a better day, won 5 chips, so he got back into the green, up 2. And again, the Martingale, you know, that's 4.5 times the winning. He's going up 131. So I was starting to wonder, what is the problem with Martingale? And again, I think on that day he got close to busting out again, but he survived. It was a couple times. I do not remember the days. Day 6. Flat better had a great day on the single deck table. But so did Martingale did too, but you can see the flat better, they were pretty close, +27, +29. So flat better's up 13. Still, the Martingale's up 158. That's, you know, over 10 times the gains. On the 2-deck table, the flat better lost 9. He went back in the red, -7. And on this day, that was the first time that Martingale busted out. He busted out in the first shoe. I don't even remember if it was at the last hand of that shoe, but it was in the first deck, or the first shoe of 2 decks. So what, you know, being so early, it was like, what are we gonna do? So we decided to stake him another 100 chips. So if you watch the video, we see I gave him a marker. I used a joker card from a different deck, and let him keep playing. He ended up getting 19 of his chips back, so he only ended up the day down 81 instead of down 100. You know, it's hard to say exactly what somebody would do in that situation. Let's see. It wasn't this day when he also hit the table max, or would have hit the table max. I think he lost a large amount and then just had a little bit left, and he bet that and lost that. So, but still, running totals for the flat better on the single deck table is up 13 to 158. You know, down into the red. I already did this, didn't I? And up 52. So, despite that big loss, the Martingale was still in the clear. Was still making money, and it's definitely still making money here. Okay, day 7. The flat better lost, but ended up the series up 4. And the Martingale won again, so ending the series up 170 and a half. On the 2-deck table, a good day for the flat better. He's up 14, so he ends the series up 7. And again, see this minus 91? Again, the Martingale better busted out. Again, I don't remember exactly where, but we did the same thing where we staked him another 100 chips, gave him a marker, kept playing, and he worked back 9, but ended up in the red by 39 chips. So it's just all this was luck that it came out this way, I think. But flat better, I mean, I think it was luck. He's probably betting flat should not have been positive on both. I mean, that doesn't fit with the idea of the house advantage. But and over time that would probably change. And again, Martingale did really well, but lost it out here. So let's say you combine those results. If you hope you can see that, I'll move it up a little bit. Overall, flat betting ended up 11. Martingale ended up 131 and a half. So despite busting out twice, in fact 2 times in a row, Martingale's doing fine. Martingale could even afford to bust out one more time and still be up 130, or depending on how things worked out. I think I've read that the expected bust out ratio is 1 in 178. Someone, you could check on that. I think that was on Wizard of Odds. The argument is that the times that you bust out, your big losses will offset and overcome your small gains. From our experiment, on this limited experiment, these aren't small gains, especially compared to flat. Yeah, those were big losses, but as it shows, those small gains added up. Again, that's only 7 days of testing. It's only 400 hands, 420 hands. Is that scientific enough? Probably not. You want to get into the thousands. Some people would argue the millions. I don't know how you play a million hands. And that's all I'm gonna do for now with the Martingale. Well, at least in the flat versus Martingale. I want to start testing, doing the same testing maybe for some positive progressive systems, the Martingale being a negative progressive system. And I would also like to compare, do a 3-way comparison of flat, negative progression, and a positive progression. So maybe I'll do the Martingale for positive progressions. That's how I like to play. When I play, I use a positive progressive system that I'm working on for myself. Does it work? Sometimes. But Martingale works sometimes. I think I'm going to try Oscars. I'll probably get around to testing Paroli. But like I said, this was flat betting versus Martingale, and Martingale did work out despite a couple of expensive days. Should you use it? That's up to you. You run the risk of busting out. You run the largest risk being hitting table limits. You actually if you get to that rather quickly. Starting at 1, if on 1 bet the table limit's 100, you go lose 1, bet 2, bet 4, bet 8, bet 16, bet 32, bet 64. After 7 losses, you're betting 64. After that, you can't double that 64 to 128. You're going to have to stop at 100 if you even have any chips left. Most of the time when we got to that 64 chip bet, which would be a $320 bet at a $5 table, Martingale player did not have much left in the stack at that point. In fact, when he did lose a bet of 64, I think on the last day, his he just went all in with, I think it was maybe eight or nine chips, because you're not supposed to be buying in again. That the idea is that you come to the table with a set amount of money, and when that's gone, you're done with that session. And that's probably, if you're gonna play Martingale, that's probably how you should do it. I would not, personally, I would not suggest losing that 64, then hitting the table max at 100, which would be $500 bet, and then losing that, and then chasing that with the most you can bet is only another $500. I guess you could move to another table, but you're just getting deeper and deeper in the hole very quickly. Hey, you want to do it, go ahead. Just trying to help you understand what the reality is. You start throwing out a lot of money, and there is no guarantee of the win. So what did I say? Seven or eight losses in a row, and you've hit the table limit. And that's if you haven't doubled down or split on the way, which, if you watch the videos, I finally figured out how to deal with that using the Martingale. I didn't necessarily, it happened in here on losses on splits and doubles, and I apologize. I probably didn't do it right. That may have skewed the numbers a little bit, not that substantially, not certainly not by 131 or the 120 chip difference here. So maybe by a little, but not by enough. It probably even would have worked out, over the number of hands. So this is, I would say, reliable enough for now. So was I saying, if you, oh yeah, so as far as when you hit that table limit, you're just going to keep betting 100. Oh, and you're betting the table max, and continue to lose, and then you're just flat betting once you've gotten to that point. And so if you want, I guess you could move to a higher limit table. It's not uncommon to lose 7-8 hands in a row. It's not uncommon, if you've played enough, it's not uncommon to lose 10 hands in a row. And by then, if you were doing Martingale and you hit the table limit, and you bet the table limit on consecutive losing hands, trying to chase and trying to get back in, you're just, like I said, you're just deeper and deeper, and at that point you're flat betting. So just something to think about as far as that goes. Yeah, if you've played long enough, everybody, I'm sure, has the memory of the worst shoe ever. That's what we like to call it, the worst shoe ever, where you can just lose and lose, and no matter what you do, you play 2 hands, 3 hands if they let you, and you can't seem to mix up the cards. Now that's all superstition, but people do it. I've done it. Sure you have. Come on, be honest. You believe in the boogeyman. You blame the dealer, although you shouldn't. Please don't. It's just a job. That's something else I've learned from doing these. It's kind of a pain being the dealer. So be nice to your dealer. Don't yell at them. Don't blow smoke in their face. It's just not. It's not cool. It's you're the one making the decision in this game. They're just pulling out of the shoe. It's not their fault. They threw you an ace when you doubled down on an 11. That's the game. All right. Anyways, I recorded every hand, every shuffle. They're all in the playlist. You can watch all of these. So, hope you found that somewhat interesting. Thanks for watching. Bye.